So the new agenda for sustainable development is a little bit different from the Millennium Development Goals. The MDGs captured some of the things that the world needed to do to tackle the most unacceptable forms of poverty. Now, the new global goals have poverty right at the centre, but they also look at challenges to do with the environment, to do with climate change, to do with better governance, and to do with economic sustainability. So thank you very much for your questions that you've submitted for this Twitter chat. One of the first questions was about how to incentivise investment in clean water projects in rural communities. Now, of course, if a project is private, the main incentive is, can that project make money? But of course, in rural communities, particularly where poor people can't afford to pay for a service, the incentive is not very strong for that investment. That's why there needs to be a strong role of local government, of the state, to invest in those projects, also recognising that they're going to save money, preventing health problems, and also increasing productivity and increasing growth. Fundamentally, it's a human rights issue. People need clean water and sanitation. That's incentive enough. We had a question about data in the post-2015 agenda. Data's been a very big focus in the new agenda, partly because the agenda is so big and complex. It's going to take a lot of effort to measure not only how well we're doing, but also on what sorts of policies can be put in place to make progress. So the new agenda, I think, is going to place a lot of importance and momentum behind improving official sources of data so we can track progress. Partly that will be for comparability across countries, but it will also be, again, about data at the local level, data for local governments about how to put the best policies in place. But it's going to take a lot of effort. It's going to take political will and money to improve data systems. There was a specific question about why education isn't a higher priority for UNDP as an agency. Now, in the My World survey, education came out as the overwhelming priority, with over 2/3 of participants putting it in their top 6 choices. Now, UNDP does work on education. For example, in the MDGs, we helped Tuvalu put together a national action plan for meeting the MDG on education. But there are other agencies in the UN system that do more, and we help them, agencies like UNICEF and UNESCO. So UNDP doesn't have to be everywhere doing everything. Sometimes the role that we play is helping others. We had a question about how UNDP is going to engage young people around the world, both in implementation of the agenda and in tracking progress. Now, young people have been actively engaged in shaping the new agenda. In the My World survey, the vast majority of people that participated were under the age of 30. In fact, we all know that it's going to be young people who will be very soon in power within the time frame of the SDGs. So UNDP is putting in place a youth engagement platform before the end of this year to encourage young people in every region, in every country, to get engaged with the new global goals. We had a couple of questions about marginalised groups and people that are not explicitly referenced in the outcome document, and what can we do about that. Of course, governments have put together this new agenda and the new set of goals, but their top line commitment was to leave nobody behind. So that's quite clear. So that means everybody in every single country. So what agencies like UNDP will be doing is making sure that that principle is also followed at country level. So once again, let me thank you for submitting all of your questions. If more come in, I'll try to answer them on the Twitter feed. And of course, you can follow the discussion on what's going on in New York over the next couple of weeks through the hashtag GlobalGoals.